we're officially in the new year, and I'm about to talk about events that took place at the end of 2019. So I'm going to go over the events of Jump Festa with what was announced for One Piece. But to be honest, like, just a mixed bag of very underwhelming, but at the same time, we got certain announcements that did catch a lot of people's attention. The mention of a new Dragon Quest anime to take place this year. Also, I believe a new Yu Hakusho was announced. So that's pretty cool. But more importantly, there was the absence of Dragon Ball Super, no mention of the anime. But we did get news and details about what to expect within One Piece. Ichiro Oda usually comes out at Jump Festa and makes a statement or two and lets us know what we can expect within the coming year, whether it relates to the manga, pretty much. So, spoiler alert, if you're only anime only, there is a spoiler warning, so you've been warned. I will be talking about some aspects of the anime, but mostly it's going to be part of the manga. I'll get into that. I do want to point out, it wasn't just Jump Festa that had the news. We actually got recently updated about a Death Note sequel to take place. And this is not shown in Jump, but it's pretty hype. So if you're not aware, a couple of days ago, there was a article on a new Death Note manga. This is going to be 87 pages. It's only a one-shot, but it's pretty cool. And I love Death Note, so I'm definitely going to be checking this out. And the visual stands out. It looks like you have Ryuk. So he's going to be, and according to the synopsis, Ryuk's going to be dropping the Death Note again, but it looks like somebody else is going to be attaining it. And you have what appears to be Nia in the visual as well, and he's holding a doll of L, so that kind of confirms that's Nia. It looks older, so that's pretty cool. So I'm assuming somebody else is going to be attaining the Death Note, not Light coming back to life. It won't be some on Kogias type of deal where Lelouch comes back to life. I still want to see that movie, by the way, as well as One Piece film Stampede. Okay, that's definitely out of the way. Speaking of One Piece, so like I said, we got Oda. He came out of Jump Festa, mentioned a couple of things. Most importantly, was the details we're going to be getting in the manga pretty soon, I would think. Now, we don't know when these events are going to take place, but I do want to bring this up. We did get some news about what to expect in the anime. Obviously, if you watched the episode recently, it ended Wano at 1, and we're going to be going into Wano at 2, and we already got visuals for some of the players who's going to be taking part of this. We got visuals of 6 characters in total. So we get to see 3 of the Blackbeard pirates: Shiryu, Avalo Pizarro, and Katarina Devon, which they're going to be important in the episode upcoming. I mean, it was kind of teased anyway. For those who read the manga, we know what goes down. We know how important Shiryu is going to have a big impact on that episode, which is going to possibly set up what's going to be a potential future matchup between he and Zoro. I mean, that's been speculated for years to be one of the final fights for Zoro. And by that point in time, Zoro may indeed have 3 Black Blades. By that point, and I don't know if he's going to get any more upgrades. He's got the B2M now that Kazuki Oden had. So that's a Black Blade already. Well, I really like, I probably should have put this out in the review. I like how they didn't spoil Blackbeard's design, because it's something we have not seen in the anime post-time skip. We've seen it in the manga, not in the anime. So I like how they kept that very well hidden. They didn't even put that in the opening either. So that's pretty cool. So then we got the other 3 characters that are going to be in Wano Act 2, a big part of Wano Act 2. Kinashiro, Yasu or Yasui, and Komurasaki. So they're going to be vital in Wano Act 2. So that's visuals we got for the anime. Now, when it comes to the manga, the statement that Oda made has got a lot of people buzzing. This is what Oda said at Jump Festa. If you remember, there's also an editor that came out about a month or 2 ago that said Oda's going to be revealing what One Piece could potentially be. We have not got that. We got one of the most important chapters in One Piece history, and we didn't get that explained. We know it's a treasure that Joy Boy left behind 800 years ago. That's pretty much it. We're going to find out whether Luffy gets to laugh there, what One Piece actually is. So, according to Oda, I've been worried about revealing spoilers in this arc, so I've been super carefully drawing it if I don't keep myself in check. So this is coming from Oda. So, like, he was not going to reveal what the One Piece is. Not yet. So, I'll end up plotting out the entire rest of my what the One Piece story right there. He probably showing all these flashbacks. Luffy's party's adventures are having their stakes risen as well. They'll all soon be faced with the reality that you have to bring sacrifices to fight for the things you believe in. Well, of course, Luffy is not the sort of person to think about those sort of things, though. Even though, technically, he did say to Vivi, ironically, people died, that's just the way it is. So, how about throwing our lives on the line as well? So, Luffy has said something similar to that in the past. And I mention this because this is going to play an important role in Wano. So, according to what we could infer from what Oda said, there's going to be sacrifices made in Wano. Now, the first thing to note is something bad's going to happen to the Straw Hats? I don't think so. I mean, they could be heavily wounded, but my gut tells me I think it's going to be something related to the allies of the Straw Hats, not the Straw Hats themselves. And I'm worried now because this could in fact be what we all feared. Maybe this is going to have something to do with law. That's to the back burner, but I just find that very interesting. There's going to be sacrifices. Maybe Jinbei's going to show up on Wano. That was heavily foreshadowed. He would give his life for Luffy. But he still has to join the crew yet. So Oda's not going to tease that if it's going to happen. It's going to happen with the crew, except after Wano. That's why I have bad gut feelings if it's bad's going to happen to Law. And if you technically think about it, Law was the one that initially came up with the plan to get Luffy involved with Kaido in the first place, back in Punk Hazard. So it would make sense. I don't want it to happen, but I can't see it being any other thing right now, because there's no other ally important to Luffy. As allies, don't get me wrong, but plus there's also been the speculation of Law betraying the Straw Hats, which no, but so maybe this is way of Law making up for getting them involved in this in the first place, even though Luffy did that Kaido and escalate things. Anyway, then we'll go on to the most important part, which has a lot of people talking for many different reasons. So the Wano Kuni arc is finally moving towards its climax as well. I've been looking forward to drawing Wano Kuni a lot. I mean, that was obvious. Oda's been having fun with the art style ever since we got into Wano. So, and the anime hat, for the most part, when it comes to like the landscape and the art of Wano, they've really hit the mark, pretty much. So I can't see Oda being displeased with that either. So I'm psyched. So if Oda's psyched, that means good things for us. And once it's over, things are going to be grim. Sabo will, Vivi will, and Hancock will. 3 big players. And Oda doesn't say what's going to happen, but you can kind of infer what he meant by that. Said that, and plus he said Wano Kuni's in its climax. So there's only 2 simple reasons for this. One is we're going to get a world building part in between another act of Wano. So, and we're going to have a Wano Act 4. Or, and as impossible as it may seem, we may in fact end Wano Kuni by the end of the year. And maybe then we'll find out what happened to those 3 already, because it was teased in the world building part before we went into Wano Act 3. So each of them are huge topics in their own right, with Sabo, Vivi, and Hancock. But I'll start off with, obviously, Sabo. Now, we don't know what happened to him yet, but the fact that he said something will happen to Sabo means he's probably still alive. There's a part a couple of chapters ago, before we went into Wano Act 3, where we got the news about Sabo. You see Makino crying, but we don't get to find out what really went down. And also, they wanted to cover something up. I personally think it's the business with Vivi, because that's some sketchy stuff. And even to the part where Garp had to apologize to Shirahoshi after escorting it back to Fishman Island. So don't hold it against us. We're not all bad people in the human world. But he knows how the government works. So I think Sabo's captured. He may be in Marajoa right now, and which begs the question, what happened to the rest of the commanders of the Revolutionary Army? So, and there's a lot to talk about that. Like I said, huge top plot points, but I want to cover each of them briefly, and then let me know what you guys think in the comments regardless. Like I said, there will be spoilers, so you were warned if you don't follow the manga. Then we come to Vivi, and I mean, this was already foreshadowed back at the Reverie when Ima-sama had a picture. We don't know why, but we know it's bad news because the Nefertari family betrayed the world government, the world nobles. They considered traitors, so that has to play a role. I think Cobra is pretty much dead. A lot of people speculated on that, and Vivi got captured. But my question is this: is it because she has relevance to what happened with the HOF and Pluton back in Alabasta? Because this is Alabasta 2.0, and the reason why I say Wano may end by the end of the year is because each of these events are arcs in their own right. I don't think all three is going to happen at once. That'd be nuts if that is the case. Then finally, Hancock will. And notice how he says after Hancock. I don't think she's going to be killed, but it doesn't look promising. Even though she says the reason why we're Shichibukai in the first place is because we're strong. The last we saw, Kobe was deployed to take care of Boa Hancock, which seemed like suicide at the beginning, because there's no way, as strong as Kobe has been, he shouldn't be at that level yet. I mean, it'd be just like Luffy against Big Mom in Whole Cake Island. It's way too soon. The only other thing that makes sense, and I hope this is the case because this would disrespect Hancock, and consider she's one of the strongest females in the series, and a former Shichibukai. Yeah, you need definitely you better have an admiral standing by with whatever happens to Hancock, because people will be going ape over this if Hancock gets disrespected by, and if Kobe goes solo, no. And we also know Kobe is also a part of the group Sword, and this led me to believe two things. I do think an admiral will be involved in this. We did see Fujitora in the same chapter. He was bandaged up, whatever happened to the Reverie. But we did not see Green Bull either. And we know he also took part in this. We don't even know he got damaged or not. I personally think, as much as they want to infer that Fujitora is responsible for capturing Hancock, I personally think it was Green Bull. But we'll have to see where that goes. There is another possibility, and because we haven't seen him since Punk Hazard, we know he's been affiliated with Blackbeard, but he's obviously a double agent. He could be working with Sword, and I'm talking about Kuzo and Aokiji. Maybe he has something to do with this, and that's how they get captured. I would like that explanation better than Kobe being the one to do it. I don't have anything against Kobe. I just don't think it's right for him to defeat Hancock by himself, especially if he's going to Amazon Lily. It's like, no. Not to toot my own horn or say I told you so, but I mentioned this back before when Wano first started in the manga. I said the previous arc that will follow, because of what was set up at the Reverie, the arc that follows will be in fact a rescue arc. Now, I didn't know who was going to be rescued, but 3 people look like they're going to be in danger. So, I mean, you can draw your own conclusions. And my question is this: will the Straw Hats get word of this? And if they are, will they be involved with each of them? So, and that's a big if. Each of these 3 captures are connected in some way, shape, or form. Then the Straw Hats have to get involved. There's no reason why some type of influence on the Straw Hats. And maybe this is like endgame type of stuff here. Like, these are players that are going to assist Luffy in the final battle. Not to mention that the Straw Hats already said they would go back to Alabasta to see Vivi again after he becomes king of the pirates. Well, if she's captured, then that kind of puts a damper on that. So I don't think Luffy's going to stand for that. And that's another reason why I think we could get more Supernova potentially show up on Wano, like Barney, because she was at the Reverie too. And she could have huge sources of information. She would know what went down with Kuma and Sabo, so she would know. But we'll just have to wait and see where that goes. But boy, talk about hyping the hell out of 2020. And 2019 was probably one of the most successful years for One Piece, period, when you think about it overall. And the manga was great. It was sensational. It's still sensational. But this could put it really over the top. But there could also be a lot of back and forth, a lot of rage on social media when it comes to like Hancock. Sabo and Vivi, we'll have to see what happens with them. Luffy's definitely going to get involved, especially with Sabo being captured. Like, no. And this has, like I said, the moment that news spread, that was like Marineford 2.0 vibes, Impel Down vibes. So it's going to be crazy to see what happens. What do you think is going to happen to those three? Do you think they're going to be captured? Do you think they're going to be killed? God forbid. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you did. Subscribe to channel for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.